Welcome back, men, women, and children of all ages. For those of you that don't know, I am the one and only infamous Kentucky Yankee without a doubt. And if you're new to the channel, what we've been doing here is assembling a Honda CB350 basket case. This thing came in 3 boxes. Today I'm going to be putting a couple cables on the front of this thing. We're going to talk a little bit about safety, and then we're mostly going to work on this back wheel section. The back wheel, the back tire, the back brakes, the shocks, the chain, the swing arm, all this stuff back here is going to be on today's episode. So if you're interested in that, prepare yourself for a mucho entertainment extravaganza. Had a pile of cables. I picked out my best 2. One for the RPM gauge, one for the speedometer. I'm just going to, so you just pull this cable out here, see? And this one comes out too. Gonna just clean them up with a little brake clean. And then we'll smear some grease on this piece right here and cram it back in the cable, and we're good to go. So I got most of the cables on. I still like the clutch cable, that's it. I ended up using the old cables. I do have new ones, but they were extra long. And I wonder if they were so long because they were going to make this into a chopper. But the old cables that were good, I used. The throttle cable, it was garbage, guys. I told you that before. And so I ended up using this long one anyways. And I'll just hide it up under the petrol tank somehow. I noticed down here, these bolts, see that bolt right there, and it's got a lock to keep it from backing out, and there's another one up here just like it. And you know, that's just from rummaging through parts on the counter over there and just noticing, hey, look, those 2 bolts look like they go there, you know. So you got to go back, take the ones out that I put in there and put the right ones in. I'm going to jack it up now and get the back wheel up. We're going to take the swing arm off, inspect all that, do whatever we have to fix it up, and then put it back together. Pretty sure they just pieced this stuff together just so that, you know, they could sell it and it would roll out of their garage. Looks better pieced together when you go to buy it, you know. That's why we got to take this all apart. I just don't trust this stuff. I want to be able to ride with confidence when we pull back on that throttle and hold it wide open for as long as we can. And see, like, this brake pedal, it's all loose right there at the bolt there. I'll take this off, put some grease on it, put it back in, make sure all the washers and stuff are there. Like this here stand, see? It's supposed to have, which this is really poor lighting, but there's supposed to be a bolt going through there. And there's one on each side. It's missing. I'll take this apart, put grease on it, put it all back together. This, you know, like this stuff, see? This right here, no cotter pins. So, you know, this was just kind of thrown together, and it's fine. I would have took it apart anyways. This needs to be cleaned up. It needs grease on it, both sides. They have brand new seals right here, so that's nice. Those are new. And all this will go together good. It's just good to inspect all this stuff, you know, so we can be safe. So here's a bag that's not labeled, and I just showed you the 2 bolt holes on the stand over there, on this kickstand, whatever you call it, right here. I was showing you these, where those go. So back to our bag of parts. Look here, not labeled. This is the fun part of a basket case. So do I know I have the right bag? No. But look here. First clue. 2 bolts, just 2, that look like they would fit perfectly in there. I don't know what this rubber stuff is for. This washer looks like it has something to do with a brake lever, right? Or possibly that kickstand. This rubber right here, let me show you what I'm thinking on that. It fits in there perfectly. Look, see that? I'm not sure. It slides into something, I can tell that. And again, I don't know that I'm right, but all these indicators make me think I'm onto something. This looks like it's off of a back of a key switch. That's no good. So they got parts mixed in here. There is a little pin. See, that could be used for the brake lever back there. And this is the way I like to sort stuff out. See, I got 4 nuts, 4 washers that match, 4 washers that match, 2 there. Just like a puzzle. These were a little bent up, so I straightened them out. It makes sense to me to put them on now before I put the brake lever and stuff back on. The kickstand's all done, ready to go. I removed these 2 bushings in the swing arm right there. See, clean them up, put nice clean grease on them. And I cleaned the bolt here, which has 2 Zerg fittings, 1 on each end. I took the air hose and blew it out. And when I blew it, it blew that old grease out of that hole right there. Just to clean everything up, new, clean, fresh grease. There was grit in here, a little bit of grit, a little bit of rust. All that's gone now. It will last us a whole lot longer cleaned up like that. Oi. I love this little handle right here. It's so you can grab the bike and pick it up to put it on the center stand. That's cool. That's a cool little detail. Our little rubbers down there that I talked about earlier, the little rubber flap. I'll shove this fender on. You see how long this has taken me? And this is why I got to edit all this stuff out. It's like, man. It's like, nothing ever just slips together nice. But that's alright, whatever. So the back wheel's up on the bench where you guys can have a close look at it. It's a little bit rusty in here in the drum. I'm just going to sand it off with some sandpaper. These wheel bearings were good. I spun it while it was on the motorcycle, and they are sealed bearings, so that tells me somebody replaced them along the way. The tire is garbage, and I am going to replace it without having to film it, because you saw me change one tire. You don't need to see me change another one. These brake shoes are worn down a little bit, but they're not bad. And a lot of people would say, well, you need to go ahead and change them anyways, because the pads are going to slip off and they're going to catch and you're going to kill yourself and blah, blah. Here's the thing. If you look at these pads closely, see there is a lip right there, an edge. Right there. See my fingernails caught in it? So if this pad was to come unglued from this, what do you think it would do? I'm thinking if the brakes were adjusted like they're supposed to be, this pad would be up, just barely rubbing the drum or kind of close. And if this glue gave way, all right, this is free now, it would just hit this edge and stop. It would go click, click, and you would hear it, and you could just fix it before you ended up killing yourself. But if you are a safety Sally, by all means, spend your money and buy new brakes for the rear of your motorbike. No fancy transitional film editing today. We're just done. Here's the tire. It's on there. It's installed. The rim got cleaned up on the inside. I did remember this time to line the red dot with the valve stem like you are supposed to. And I got the rotation the right direction, which I'm looking for right now. Maybe we can see it on this side. There's a rotation. See that the tire needs to go, as I told you on the first one. So when this is on the bike, it'll be that way. It'll turn right. The drum is all cleaned up, and I ended up using a wire wheel on my drill. Made the job a little quicker. Sanded it off a little bit. This thing is ready to go on the bike. There really is no parts to this thing. I mean, very few. You got your bearing over here. There's a spacer between your two bearings, just like the front wheel. On this back side, there's a sprocket held on with this washer and snap ring, and these bolts. These are all tight, and I just don't see any need in taking that apart. So the brake will just fit right in here like this whole drum deal, and we're ready to go on the bike. Both sides have a spacer. One's longer than the other. It looks like the longer one goes on the side without the sprocket. Make sure you don't forget to put those in there. Now let's see if I can slip her in here. Just going to leave that loose for now. I'm going to get the chain on there and stuff like that. I make a lot of jokes, and a lot of my jokes are about safety, not wearing safety glasses and not worrying about brakes and this and that. And then I forget there's a lot of stupids out there. So if you're a stupid, don't pay any attention to my jokes. You may take my jokes seriously. If you're a stupid, make sure that you're not paying attention to the jokes and that you're doing things safe. Use a little common sense. Wear your safety glasses. Fix your brakes. Things like that. I don't want to be responsible for a stupid getting into an accident or poking his eye out or something like that. This little holder for the brake has another one of these locking things on it. So, it goes this direction because it holds on to the bar. See, it won't move when the nut's tightened down, and then you take one of these flaps and fold it over the nut. Almost time for the chain. I have had this thing soaking in diesel fuel and transmission fluid for several days. So I'm going to get it out of there and let it dry up a little bit so it's not greasy all over the place. While I'm doing that, I'm thinking put the shocks back on it so that it can be at nearly the right ride height when I go to adjust the chain. I don't know how important that is, but anyways, and get that jack out from under it. Just get it sitting nice and level or whatever, like when you're going to ride it, and then we'll get the chain on it. Here's a little trick for you. You see this right here is just an Allen wrench that I cut off a piece of it because you can get them cheap. So I just cut it off. Well, it's an 8mm. So you take a 6-point socket, an 8mm, and you instantly have, you know, a socket with a Allen wrench in it. I don't know what you call it. So now it's set up to put the chain on. If you guys are wondering, it's okay to have this stand on it because see, you're still holding it up from the arms there. The problem was I had the jack underneath the engine and the swing arm didn't have no tension on it. Will this old rusty chain even fit? I do not know. I probably should invest in a new chain. Perhaps I will, I don't know. And these links are froze up, rusty on here. To my surprise, and I'm sure a lot of you, to your surprise, I believe I'm gonna buy a new chain to install on this. Let's see if we got the right length chain even. The new chain I purchased is longer, as you can see, and that's okay. I'm going to cut it down to size. The reason I bought it longer is because it was a lot cheaper that way, and I can cut it down the right amount of lengths that we need. This is a 530 pitch. That's the important part right there. You want to make sure the pitch of the chain is the same. As far as that goes, if you have that right, you can cut the chain whatever length you want, and it is, I don't know, half price buying it this way instead of the exact amount of lengths. And I counted the lengths because the old chain was stretched. So I'm going to cut it right here, this link. That's all there is to it. No problemo. Aw, crap! Just kidding, fellers. It's the right size. Made a little joke. You know, I thought you guys would think, whoa, he cut it the wrong size. You know what I mean? So that's why I did that. That's why I made that little funny. So for the master link, we'll slide her in the back side here. It's easy to do, to line up, if you do it while it's on the sprocket. It's difficult to do it on the sprocket or off the sprocket while the camera's right here in my way. But anyways, next piece is this little piece right here. Slip her on there. And most importantly is this lock. This lock, you want to go the direction the chain is running. You see, this front part, you want to go the way the chain's running. So it'll go on this direction. The reason for that is because if you put it on this way, you see, and the chain is running this way, and it gets some grass or something catches it or hooks it, it'll poop, and it'll pop it off. That's why you want the front going this direction with the chain. Very nice. Now I gotta adjust this right here on both sides. Let me show you a little detail about that. Hopefully you can see it. There is a little tiny divot. I know you can see it. There's a little divot right here, and there's marks on the frame, and that's so you can get a nice even pull on your chain. What we are looking for is 3/4 of an inch deflection on the bottom of the chain. So in other words, it'll move from here to here, needs to only be 3/4 of an inch movement. And I will get not so precise with that. I'm just gonna, I don't know, I'll probably measure it, whatever. Let me get these in order. We're gonna adjust this real quick. To measure the chain deflection, this is what I did. I put the tape measure down here and got up to an even number right here. which is 11. And now I pull it up, and it should go up 3/4 of an inch. You should be able to move this chain from it sagging up 3/4 of an inch. And I'm not sure if I have it exact, but I am happy with it right there. There might be a specific location where you check it on this chain. I doubt it. Probably right here somewhere in the middle. And for this motorcycle, it's 3/4 of an inch. You don't want the chain to be too tight. If the chain's too tight, you're going to wear your sprockets out and it's going to pop, do weird stuff. You want it to be at specs. I am a firm believer in using new cotter pins. Very important. Cheap insurance. These things are cheap. You buy the whole box at, I don't know, for $2. So replace the cotter pins. It's just a good safety insurance. Let's see if she's smooth. Nice. Time for the chain guard. I made a big deal out of our nice powder-coated chain guard that I had. If you guys will remember in previous episodes, real nice. Powder-coated, brand new. It doesn't fit this motorcycle. So I had to get this one off of eBay. It would have been nice if it fit, but it did not. I think it goes on a bigger CB Honda of some kind, but I'm not positive about that. Thank goodness for eBay. This little bolt right here fits back in there, and it's easy to get to with this socket like that, no problem. Some of you may stick it in here like this and find out that it falls in the socket, you see, like so. And you're thinking, that's frustrating because it won't thread in the nut back there. All you have to do, a little Kentucky Yankee common mechanic tip, is you put a nut inside that socket. Now that'll hold that bolt out where the threads stick out, and now you can push it in there and turn it. Do not cross thread or strip any bolts on your motorbike, and if you do, don't tell anybody about it. It's raining outside, so I'm not just going to sit here and babble a whole bunch. In my opinion, a 20 minute, 25, 20, 30 minute video is enough. So that's why I'm going to call it quits now. All right, guys, that's it for this one. I hope you liked it. If you did, share it with your friends. Hit the like button. Always leave a comment and tell me what you think of these videos, good or bad. Guys, we'll see you next time.